Hi there, it's Kathy from Maryland. We are going to make a folio today. So I've been having a lot of fun with these, just adding some different artful elements. I've added this little binding along the front, which reminds me of sewing, and that is really fun, and I think it just gives it a special touch. On the back of some of these, I've been just doing a pretty little botanical print, but mainly we're going to use a book page, collage it, and then we're just going to add some of these special elements. Let me just show you a couple of the other ones. Here's another one. A lot of it is old book pages and things. Just having a lot of fun with playing with bright colors, which I love. Some fussy cut birds and stamps and all kinds of fun. I've been using a focal point, fussy cutting a botanical flower for a few of the front of these, which really kind of gives it a nice look. I've been doing a little bit of marking and just having it just be a little bit more artful. This one I actually made a signature and sewed in a little pad right there. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun. Let's put these aside and let's get going. I have a tray that I use for my collaging with all of my neutral colors. I took a large page out of a knitting magazine, and this is what I'll use for the base of my folio. It's shiny. The only downside with that is when things are shiny, when you go to use ink on them, even if it's permanent ink, you really have to be careful and let it dry or it will smudge. So that's the only downside, but I like the size of this. I thought that sweater graphic on there, the pattern was really cool, so we'll do that. I've picked out a couple of vintagey type papers that I want to use for my binding, so that will kind of be my color scheme. So that's what I do when I'm making one of these, is I kind of get a color scheme. So I want to work with some reds and yellows and bright colors for this. And then I have my neutrals. I will go through my collage paper and just kind of flip through and pull out things, colored paper that kind of will go with this project, and just put, you know, a bunch of things in here that might work. And then I will get some special elements like little labels and little things from other projects that I have left over that might be fun to put in it as well. I have some other pretty little elements I might use. Then I did pick out a picture. I am going to put a botanical on the back of that. So I picked that out and I fussy cut flower for the front of it, and this flower is very special to me, and I am going to tell you a story about this flower. And if this were live, I would ask any of you if you know what kind of flower. So anyway, let's get going. So when you do this, you want to make a decision. Do I want to just do a flip out like that and maybe do a one signature journal, or do I want to do a smaller one and flip up the bottom and do pockets? That's what I did here. This actually, I added a piece on because the paper was not as big as this. So you can do that as well. And those seams get pretty much covered up nicely. So for this one, I would like to do pockets. So I'm going to flip up the bottom. So guys, this piece actually didn't end up working out, and because I put all the score marks in it, it's hard for me to go back and redo the design, so I'm going with a different book page. All right, we're starting over. I'm sorry. All right, I found this amazing map book at the secondhand store, and I am going to use this because it is large and in charge, and this paper's amazing. So let's find a good page that goes with all the stuff that we are doing. That's kind of cool. We've got some different things going on. I like this. So I'm going to go ahead and carefully cut this out. Okay, I had to actually get out my measuring tape because it's long. Now, of course, I do have inches on here. Let's see, this is 14 by 10. Yes, now we are in business. So now I just have to figure out what I want to fold up for the pocket. I think that would kind of be cool on the inside. If that's 10, then that means I want this to be 5 inches by 7.5. I'm going to actually use this as my sample. So this is 5 1/4 by 7.5. That's a 3-inch pocket. That's what I thought. Okay, we're going to do it this way. I did not do a pocket on my flaps. 5 1/4 and 5 1/4 is 10.5. So that's a nice size flap. Let's do that. Okay, so here we go. 5 1/4. And 5 1/4 is 10.5. Don't you love these scoreboards? They are great. So I just cut this corner out like so. And then let's get the rest of this folded. And then again, I will cut a little bit off of that. Let's do that now. I like cutting a little bit off of this side so when we fold it in, there's a little extra room. So I take about 1/8 of an inch off. That should be good. Let's see. I could have scored a little bit better, but sometimes with these book pages, when you score too much, it splits your page. So just trying to be careful with that. All right, we have our base. What I wanted to say was, as I started making these for samples, I realized the first one that I did, I was very careful with my collaging and placing things in the little pieces of collage paper, like strategically. And then as I went, I thought, I need to do this a little bit faster. I mean, who's got hours and hours to do collaging? I don't, as much as I love it. So then what I did was, I said, you know what, I'm just going to turn this over and I'm going to collage it and not worry about anything. And it just gives you a whole new freedom to play with paper and collage. And I really enjoyed the process so much better and did the other 3 that way. And they came out beautiful. And I think if I showed you the one I did first, when I was really careful and precise with my paper, I don't think you'd even be able to tell the difference. So for me, it was a really great learning curve on just being a little bit freer with my process. And I might even take a little bit of that off. I just want to see a little bit more of this cover. So I really did learn something with that. Sometimes you can just think about things too much, if you know what I mean. I'm sure I'm not the only one who does it. You look at your paper and you think, what do I want to keep and what do I want to cover up? Actually, that's kind of cute, but I kind of have a plan for the back unless I change my mind, because that is Texas. It's very cute. And it kind of goes with my binding too. So I might just end up keeping that. I like cutting a notch in my pockets, so I'll do that before I glue them and get all kind of crazy with my decorating. So let's see. Let's just go ahead and get right into the collaging piece of this. So as I said, I just picked out a bunch of neutral colors that I'm going to use for the base. Just things with different fonts. Pick out some different old book pages or scrapbook paper. Things with maybe a little different variations of white, off-white, you know, very old book pages, maybe a little bit of a map. So I'm going to take all of this and just rip it up and start gluing it on my base. And I actually might set this to music because it's, you know, takes a little bit of time. And now, one thing I will say is going over creases is fine. You just have to make sure that your glue is dry or it gets a little funky if you don't wait. I have been kind of stopping there, then I just ink the creases. So basically you don't want a lot of straight lines, as you all know, with your collaging. And I am going to go like that because I don't think that I want to go across those creases. So this is the pocket that's going to flip up. So I am going to put him like right here. So that's going to flip up like that. I want to put him upright. Let's take a look and get this cut. This is the fun part. I love cutting off these edges. And I'm doing this because if I collaged this side without cutting these first, I wouldn't know where my original ends were. So all of these added layers adds a lot of strength to this as well. Okay, let's see how we did. That's gonna go like that. That's gonna go like that. And this is going to close. Oh, that's nice. So then what I do is I look kind of at my edges and see, I might add some washi tape. I'll go around and see where my folds are and see if I need to trim anything up there. I'm going to go ahead and punch my little two things right now. What we're going to do now is we're going to do the same thing to the inside. I'm going to clean up all this and then we're going to come back and we're going to put that cute little binding on. The binding pieces are 1 inch. So just measure the height of your journal and do a 1 inch piece so it'll be a 1/2 inch on each side. I make them a little bit longer. My journal is 7 1/4 and then I'll cut them off. So then what I do is I just take my scoring tool down the middle at a 1/2 inch. I just really like the look of this. I think it finishes it off really nice. It strengthens the edges and it also holds in all of those collage pieces. So yeah, what I do at this point is I'm going to ink up my pockets because I'm going to go ahead and glue those before we put our binding on. I'm just using some walnut stain. So I hope you appreciate about the speed collaging. Some of you might already do that. I just was like, you know what? I am just going to try to just do this a lot faster and freer and not worry about where I'm putting things, which paper I'm using. I think it was more which paper I'm using, and this has just been so much more fun for me. So let's get this glued. Now, I have stitched around a couple of these. I stitched that middle seam, the middle pocket, which I thought looked good. And we'll go ahead and get these on. You'll see they just fit on perfectly. So I hope you're liking this process so far. It really is one of the funnest things. I mean, it's just like my art journal, my last video. I'm really enjoying just playing with paper, doing some fun new techniques with art, just having a lot of fun with it. See, so there's a little extra on each end that you can just clip those off. It's coming together. How nice is that already? I'm going to go ahead and put my piece on the back here just to get that on. That needs to be a little bit smaller. I actually kept the title of this. Here it is. This came out of a botanical book, and it is a painting by Robert Johnson Thornton. It's called The Temple of Flora, the large flowering sensitive plant. It was painted actually between 1799 and 1807. Said Dr. Thornton chose an idealized view of the Jamaican hills for the background of this print. Isn't that beautiful? I just love it. I think that I'm going to use my other type of glue for this because I don't want that to ripple. This is 3-in-1 glue. It's fast drying. It's clear. The only drawback is that the fumes are pretty strong. Okay, I think the next thing I'd like to do is glue on my flower on the front. And I told you I was going to tell you a little story about this flower. And I am. Let's just get that a little bit more even. This is a lady slipper. See that little thing right there? It's kind of like a Dutch shoe or a slipper, and it's called a lady slipper. They do grow native in New England. So back in the 1980s, my dear friend and now husband gave me one of these flowers on a night in May, and I had just graduated from college, and he put it in this beautiful old bottle, and I thought, oh, isn't that nice? We had been dating for maybe 2 years, and the week before he was acting a little funny, just kind of quiet, and I actually thought that we were going to break up that night. I didn't know what was up. I'm like, why is he acting funny? And he gave me this present, and he used to give me very sweet things like that. Just a beautiful flower that he had found in the woods in this old antique bottle. And I was like, oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. And we're sitting on this stoop, and I'm looking at the flower, and he's fidgeting, and I just really was waiting for the other shoe to drop and have him say, you know, I don't think this is working out. And he goes, take a closer look at the flower. And I didn't know what he was talking about. He goes, it's a shoe. And I looked in that little flower and saw a diamond, and he had dropped an engagement ring in that and proposed to me that night. And this flower is very special to me. I just couldn't even get over it, and I will never forget it. And so that's my story of the lady slipper many, many years later. Sometimes really important things come in very simple packages, and that was very, very sweet. Oh, someday I'll tell you how I lost the diamond twice out of it, but not today. That's for another day. So this is coming along. So at this point, I've got my focal point on the front. I've got my binding on. I've got my picture on the back. Some of my folios I collaged the back and just added some labels and things, but I just wanted to do that beautiful print there. So now what I'll do is I'm just going to go in and add a little bit of color and some labels and some stamping. Then I might do a little bit of mark making in some of these areas, just following the lines. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we're ready to start. I'm going to do a little stamping and stenciling first. And I had a thought about putting a little bit of this plaid right here with some vintage photo. This is a Stampers Anonymous, and it's THS 183. Get a piece of paper I can put underneath that. And I'm going to use a little bit of vintage photo. I just thought it would be a nice background for this little stenciled flower that I did. I thought it would be cute. And I just love this vintage photo. It's definitely a fave. So let's see, that looks pretty good. I just kind of wanted to get a little bit of that in there. And I'm not sure if I need to do any color blocking, but I think I'm going to, because I actually want it to stay in the squares. Most of the time I'll just use paper for color blocking. I just want to go like this, so I don't really want to get any up there. Just lightly put that on like that. And I'm going to also lightly put one on the bottom, just so we kind of keep a nice clean margin. There we go. And that way you don't have to worry about having circles where you don't want circles. And yeah, that's nice. I like like it. I'm going to give this a little squirt. Just get a little smearage going on there. Little oxidation. Oh yeah, there we go. That's nice. Oh, I think that's a nice effect. I have this cute little, just did it in a little forest moss and embossed it, and I was going to put that right over that in that area. I like that. But before I do that, so we'll put something there. I've just pulled out some labels and a few fun things that I'm going to use for this. And so I'll just be pulling some stuff out from time to time and seeing what works. And just having some fun. This is the fun part of it. I mean, the whole thing is fun, but of course, this is my favorite part. Yep. Yeah, that's way too big. I've got to go with something smaller. And I don't want it to be super bright, like something like this. Yeah, this would be perfect. Since I did just pull up a little bit of text there, get this on first. So yeah, basically just adding some elements that make me happy, and then just adds a little story to this. Of course, my Irish heritage. Yeah, St. Patty's Day is coming up, isn't it? A little couple months away, but it's coming. All right, what's next? So here, I was thinking that I would like to take a little bit of texture paste and go through that stencil right there. So that's what we're going to do. Just kind of random, nothing that's the whole thing, just a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of gold embossing powder on there so that when that dries, oh yeah, that's nice. Yep, just something small. I'm going to use some of this Princess Gold embossing powder. Oh, that's nice. I think that's going to be really pretty. See how quick this is? As much as I think I'd like to keep things simple, guys, I like a little bit of bling. I'm not going to apologize for it. I think it's just who I am. And I definitely like a little bit of bling, a little bit of shine. And it's just, I think my work is always going to have a little bit of that in there. And it's easy too. You know, it's really not too difficult. All right. So what I decided to do in the middle, because I'm kind of working my way across, is do a little paper pad. So I got some little tea-stained papers, and I cut this little top from one of my die cuts. Wow, look at those fingers. That's something. I also got a couple of these little tiny guys. So what I'm going to do is, I don't know, there might be like 10 pages there. I'm going to glue that in first and either staple it or sew across there. So let's get that glued. I like using this for the top of paper pads, and honestly, I can't even remember which die it came out of. I think it's an Elizabeth Craft Design die, maybe for one of the planners. Yeah, so right now the middle papers aren't being held in, so I have to make a decision to sew this, or what I think I'm gonna, oh, I can't because that's wet. I think we are going to, see there's a little hole there. I want to get that white. See if I can just use my Crocodile to kind of, there we go. Sometimes what I like to do when I do one of these tops is I do a little black stencil across there. And I think we're going to do that. Oh, one of them says notes. And we're just going to put that right here. Oh, nice. Okay. So let's just get that stapled. I'm just going to go ahead and staple it. So what I wanted to do was put this on the top. It's just that cork scrapbook paper. It's the other side, and I thought that would look cute. Yeah, that's the other side of my binding. See, so cute. That on one side, even though you won't see the back. I think I'll just add a little thickness to it. That's nice. Come on. I'm glad I did that because now I can gauge. And I mean, you still can put a little something in there. It's going to cover up that pad, but you know what? What's wrong with having that stick up above? I actually think that's okay. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. Oops. I got to be careful of that. Just knocked a little bit off. All right, let's just get that glued on. Nice little pad for journaling. I like that. Next, I made this cute little thing. So I took this die and punched these other holes. That was from another die because I wanted to make like a little sleeve here to put in a couple of little pictures. So it's a piece of the Tim Holtz craft stock paper, and I sanded it. And I thought that was really nice. So I want to get that on there because I was going to do a little stamp on there. And so let's go ahead and glue that. So with this, you want to glue on the back here. So something can go from there to there, and then just all around the perimeter. So I'll do that first so I don't forget not to go any lower than that. I think that looks fine. So let's get this on. It's going to go right here. So I just kind of picked colors that would complement without trying to be too matchy-matchy. All right, I just wanted to stick something there to make sure that that's not glued. And I can definitely stick something in there. Yep. That's good. I like that. It's cute. So I found this stamp. It says postcard, and I thought that would be really fun. So I got it on there just right, and that's going to get stamped on there. Oh, I like that. Oh yeah, very nice. We are looking good. All right, so what I'm going to do is let this dry, and then I can flip it over and do a little bit more on there. I actually wanted to show you this because I made one for one of my other journals. So I had some pressed flowers, so I have a laminator. So I laminated the pressed flowers, and then I took some of these pretty little delicate paper wreaths and glued it to either side, because then I can glue it on. If it was just the plastic, it's hard to glue onto paper. So I thought that was cute. I don't really think it goes with this so much, but I do love that, and I will use that in another journal. It's just kind of like a simple gray heart. I really like that. some sort of a sentiment. But isn't that pretty there? I think I'm putting that on there. I am just going for it. I love that there. It's almost kind of a little wonky heart, but I think that's okay. Nothing wrong with a wonky heart. Okay, I'm going to just take a little break, let that dry, and I'll be back. Okay, so I was able to emboss that. It came out nice. I like it. I thought of something for that. I remembered I had this Tim Holtz Idea-ology ticket book that actually I think I've only used like a little bit out of, but I'm trying to use my supplies and not buy new. So I thought I would reach into here and get a couple of these tickets, and we will think about a train ride that we've been on. These are all great tickets. Let's see. I love how authentically vintage they look. They're very cool. I think I'll use that one. Put that in there. And let's see what else. This is another nice one. Actually, that's two together, I think. Let me take a look at that. See how that looks. Oh yeah, that's nice. We could actually do this, put that in the top one, and this down here. They fit perfect. As I say that, it's getting stuck on something. There we go. That's great. I just like that. Cute. So yeah, I mean, actually it would be great to make one of these folios as a little memory book from a trip somewhere. In fact, I found a great label I want to put right here. So you could put photos, and this is from Hotel Cervantes from Paris, and that's going to go right there. Airline tickets. Just giving you some ideas what you could use this for. So that I'm happy with. On the front, I found a stamp I thought would be cute here. And here it is. It's this cute little Elizabeth Craft design stamp. And I thought I might put one there and one here. And I don't think it'll take away from that beautiful flower. Because I think we need a little black on the cover to balance this. And oh, I think that'll be nice. My question is, do I want to give that a little bit of embossing? And I think I do. I think it would be nice. So I am going to do that. I really like doing this. Just using your ink as the glue for the embossing powder. So we'll do that. And we're going to do one more over here. I'm going to hit that with my thumb. We're good though. I just have to clean that up a little bit with a brush. Oh, I think that's nice. It just gives a little accent to that front page that I think it needed. And part of this will be covered up anyway. See a little something that needs to be glued a little bit. Okay, looking good on the front. The back, I wanted to put a black label back here because I thought right on the bottom there, that might be nice like that. So that's going to go on there. Guys, this has been a great project. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's, you know, like anything else, it can be quick and as easy or intricate as you want it to be, but it's the kind of thing that you could work on in an afternoon, come back down and sit and just have fun. Just have fun putting down some creative things on paper. I have a couple cards. I thought this would be nice in here. Little voyage card and a letter from a loved one. And let us not forget to put our rivet in. So I've been putting a rivet right here in the middle. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm using the smaller side of my crocodile. Out a yellow rivet, which I thought would be nice in there. Excellent. All right, I had this little card too that I thought I might squeeze in somewhere. So I have been using this really nice thin twine and just making a long piece, doubling it up. Now, if you wanted to, you could add beads to the end of this, which I think would be cute. So what I've been doing is just closing it up, flipping this over, and going around a couple times and then back in. That might only get the once around. But that's basically it. We're going to take one final look at our other ones, and I just want to say thank you so much for your patience, for being here. I hope you give this a try. It is a lot of fun and just a great way to use up some of those supplies, do some fussy cutting, do some embossing. We are not done just yet. I want to add a bird stamp right there. It's like the perfect place for it. So we are going to do that. I got these beautiful little bird stamps. It's by Dina Wakley, and they're these sketchy bird stamps, Scribbly Small Birdies, MDR 50414. And they have character and they are just cute. I liked this guy because he's facing that way. And I just thought that he would be a really nice little addition right here at the bottom. Yeah. Yes, that's great. I love it. Okay, we'll let him dry a little bit. So that's that. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. You'll give it a try. And until next time, love you guys. Bye.